Hello and welcome back. Today I'm building the Mazda Roadster NB, or Miata, or MX-5 depending on where you live. This is going to be a replica of my brother's MX-5 for his Christmas present. Let's see how I get on. The kit comes with both left-hand and right-hand drive dashboards, which is pretty good, and there's a decent amount of detail in here. Everything is pretty simple. Most of this painted in satin black from Tamiya. Added a bit of clear orange for some of the displays there, and used some Posca paint pens to pick out some buttons and switches and that sort of stuff. You've got one dashboard decal here with these blue instrument faces. Now my brother's car has got white instrument faces, so I found a couple of white decals like this in the spares box and added them over the speedo and rev counter. I don't have enough for all of them here, but I still think it looks better than it did. And the steering wheel goes on next. Now the badge that was in the centre of this on my brother's car is just a standard Mazda logo. Thankfully, because of the metal stickers this kit has, you've got more Mazda logos than you need. So I added this on like so. And there is the interior pretty much done. Here's a little test drive we had. It's a nice car. So I painted up the underside pretty much according to the instructions, using some matte grey, silver and matte black. Then used some of these Tamiya weathering master sets to make it look a little bit like it was 20 years old. Don't want to make it look too rusty. Then with the hubs, you've got the axles like so. You put the poly caps in there, and then you've got the disc brakes for the front. They'll go into this, which is painted in satin black. Now this I found a little bit awkward, assembling all of this. I gave it a test fit like so, but this doesn't glue, not until you attach it to the chassis. So then attach the controlling arm like so. Then re-sandwich them all together very carefully, as none of these parts can be glued, unless of course you don't want the steering to work. Then the shock absorbers go in like so. These were painted silver and then used a bit of Sharpie to pick out the red coils. Then carefully slot that into place onto the chassis. Pinholes go through onto the other side, so you can add glue from the top once you're happy that they're all in the right position. For the rear hubs, put the poly caps into the back of the brakes, and then glue them onto the lower half of the wishbone suspension. Start with one side of the rear suspension and then add the rear axle. Once I'm happy that that's in the right position, then put the other side of the suspension on as well. And then that slots in quite nicely at the back. Now you've got two sets of wheels in this. These 5-spoke ones are close to the ones that he had on his car, but I found that they were too shiny, so I went over the top with some silver spray. Tyres were added and then picked out the detail using a bit of panel line accent. They look alright, I think. And then these just slot into place. All four are identical, just have to be wary of the tyre tread pattern. Now the bodywork is all in white. There's a few mould seams, including on the rear bumper. Clip away the supports around the windscreen. Then you've got the front bumper, which goes on like so. Now this handily comes with window masks for the front window, the hard top and the soft top. Now firstly, for the hard top, the window mask is for the inside, which is a bit annoying because it means you don't actually have a mask for the outside. However, I came up with a solution and I cut this out, the surround, which is roughly the right size for the outside of the windscreen. You can see here, I've already painted the inside black. So smooth that down as best as possible and then fill the gap in the middle with some standard masking tape, and then you can spray the outside. Now I'm using this colour matched Pro Scale paint. It's Mazda Emerald Green. Starting with some fine grey primer on the bodywork. And then this is ready mixed for airbrush use. I want to say a big thanks to Paul from ProScale because I requested this paint and it was delivered to me within 2 days. So really good customer service. And there we are, built it up to that deep green metallic shine. Pretty happy with this. So then you've got these decal indicators and the rear brake light, like so. The paint dries matte, and I've actually given this a small gloss coat first, just to help these decals settle as best as possible. I'm using micro set and then some UMP strong decal solution over the top to help these settle as best as possible. Now these side marker ones are optional because you do also have the actual clear parts to go over the top. However, I felt it was useful to get the positions right for them. Now all those are in place, I gave it some light mist coats and then a heavier coat of Tamiya LP9 clear gloss. This is thinned 50-50 with the Tamiya lacquer thinner. Looks really good at this point, however when it dried it did have a little bit of orange peel in it. Left it to cure for a couple of days before giving it first a wet sand with some Tamiya 3000 grit sanding sponge. Tried to flatten down that paintwork as best as possible. And then I polished it using the Tamiya polishing compound, starting with the coarse, using this UMP polishing cloth. Do this as gently as possible to make sure that I didn't burn through. So once I was finished with the coarse, I went on to their fine polish to get a nicer finish. So here's the soft top. So the decal goes on the outside of this one. And I wasn't going to prime this one. I was just going to go straight on with the black paint. And then again, you've got the decal for the front windscreen here. However, it doesn't give you decals for the side glass, so I made sure to cover that with tape. And now I'm using some Tamiya semi-gloss black lacquer paint, thinned 50-50% with their Tamiya lacquer thinners. I found that this was a bit too shiny for the vinyl roof, so I later went over with some clear matte. And then I also did the kind of plastic trim around the outside of the car and the windscreen. Very carefully pulled that away. Used Tamiya curved tape to do these parts, so it was very useful. There we are, pretty happy with that. And the roof, which I'd also polished. Little bit of overspray, but not too bad. And that looks pretty good. Vinyl soft top. It's really nice that you're given the option with this kit. And the windscreen at the front. Was a little bit of overspray here, so I cleared that up with a cocktail stick. Giving it a little test fit. I found this window didn't want to be glued into place, so I'll show you what I did later. Now you come with some chrome stickers. It suggests to attach them to the back of the lenses, but I chose instead to put them on the inside of the tail lights like so. However, I didn't use them on the headlights. Instead, I painted those silver, like you can see here. I also realised that I didn't need these little vertical bits in the opening, so I snipped those away and then touched them up with just a little bit of the green paint on a paintbrush. Made my own Euro style number plate out of styrene, as the kit didn't have one, and I used the real car to get the right colours of the tail lights. These were coloured using red Sharpie from the inside, and then I used a bit of foam safe superglue to glue those carefully into space. Rear view mirror was done in black and silver. One great feature is that this kit comes with metallic stickers. However, a criticism for the kit for both the stickers and the decals is that it doesn't come with MX-5 names, only Roadster or Miata. So I used the Mazda nameplate like this, but then created my own MX-5 ones by using a small amount of aluminium tape. I'll put an MX-5 decal on that later, and here it is with the Mazda badge in the middle. If you don't like adding these metallic stickers, then there are decals for all of these instead. However, I think it looks so much better. I wish more kits had these features. Here's the MX-5 decal that I printed to go over the top. I test fitted the window to the right place and then added the windscreen wipers. I found the best way to add the window was to sit it into place inside the bodywork and then fit the car in like so. I forgot to add that I've added the door cards to the interior tub. You've got some little clips at the back and the front. Make sure that you line those up right to get the bodywork all lined up with the chassis. You can see it's not exactly right here. Just have to move things around. But all this goes together without any glue, so that means it can be adjusted nicely. And there we are so far. I'd added a little bit of silver paint to those clips just behind the where the roof is going to go. And there it is with the folded roof. And here's the bumper at the front. There's a couple of places for glue to go behind that. And I test fitted the headlights to make sure that the silver was the right shape. When I was happy with that, I put a little bit of foam safe superglue around the edge. I'd also added some rubber trim to the headlights with a bit of black Sharpie, as you can see. The headlights look very, very similar, so make sure you get the right and the left ones correct. And I've made another number plate for the front out of styrene, and this is just blue tacked into place so it can be removed. Wing mirrors are a little bit fiddly. Again, painted green, and then you've got some chrome lenses for them. I used a tiny amount of foam safe superglue to fit these. And there we have it, it's finished. So I'm pretty pleased with how this has turned out. I think it's a fairly accurate representation of my brother's car. Now for the score. For value, it's 4 out of 5. This was 25 quid, which is pretty good value. Assembly wasn't too bad, but the suspension was a bit confusing, so that's a 4. Accuracy is pretty good, but no engine and no MX-5 names, so I'm going to give it a 4. This is a decent quality kit from Aoshima, I'm going to give it a 4. For the legacy, this is the world's best-selling Roadster, so that's a 4 out of 5, giving this a really good total of 20. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Have you built one of these? What do you think of my build? And, as ever, at this time of year, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.